Hey everyone. So, in this video, I'm gonna be eating. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm eating. I'm gonna make you guys guess at the end of this video, depending on when I'm done eating, whatever it is that I'm eating. I hope you guys can hear me fine. Kind of far away from my computer. But today, I'm gonna be reading out of this book here. It's a really popular book. Back in my childhood, my preteen years. It's called Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul on Love and Friendship. Chicken soup books were just really popular back then in the day. They didn't have really a specific purpose. They were just stories of young girls, sometimes guys, I believe, too. No, I think it's mostly girls. Oh no, some guys actually. And they would just write down their stories and experiences and stuff, and it was just such an amazing book, and I loved them so much when I was growing up. And I'm the kind of person that when it comes to movies or books, I don't really go back to reading them again. I don't know. It's just 'cause if it's something that good, I don't think I should ruin it by reading it again. And I don't know, it's weird. Like, I always thought that I could get out of that, but I don't know. I can't. But, so here it says, Dear teens, since the first Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul book was released in 1997, we have been receiving hundreds of letters a day from teens like you, and possibly even you. We received so many letters about love and friendship that we felt it was time to compile a book dedicated entirely to those two important subjects. Love and friendship are top priorities for nearly everyone, but especially for teenagers. Your friends are almost as important as your family, and the lessons you learn from friends, boyfriends, and girlfriends are lessons that shape who you are and who you will become as an adult. The stories in this book are about relationships and the lessons we learn from them. It is our hope that you will see yourself in many of these stories, and that you will realize that you are not alone in the trials that come with any friendship or relationship. May you discover from these stories and in your life how amazing friendships can be and how blessed we all are when love is part of our lives. We hope you enjoy reading this book and that you find comfort and guidance with these pages. All our love, Kimberly, Jack, and Mark. So these are the authors, or compilers, and their names are Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, and Kimberly Carberger. So, the first chapter is Falling in Love. Maybe we should go to a random chapter. I'll do this one because Falling in Love seems to be one of the most popular and bittersweet, controversial things for all of us to experience. So, hold on a sec. I'm hungry. Never talk with a full mouth. Okay. Falling in love. Love doesn't make the world go round. Love is what makes the ride worthwhile. I'm just going to go through random pages and try to find here. Impossible things can happen. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. William Shakespeare. Some guys in high school are all that. They have everything going for them. They hang out with all the right people. They have all the good looks. They are so popular. They have half the girl population in the school drooling over them. And they are totally unreachable. In so many words, that is how I would categorize Eddie. He had a great body, he was cool, and I loved everything about him. I loved the way he made me feel every time he walked by. Most of all, I loved his bright brown eyes. He was perfect. I had a huge crush on him the moment I saw him. But of course, that was all he would be to me, a crush. I had always been this regular girl who would just hang out with my friends during lunch, pretending not to care about anything, but secretly glancing in his direction every now and then. He had always been the guy everybody knew and respected. Compared to him, I felt like I was insignificant. My best friend Angela knew everything about my secret crush on him, and she would never fail to remind me that we were not meant to be. In fact, she would remind me if people knew that I had a crush on him, they would probably laugh their brains out. It was like I was this commoner with a huge crush on my king. Although we were never formally introduced, somehow our paths crossed. He talked to me one day when we were both late for school. He said hi and asked me why I was late. Naturally, I pretended to be unaffected and answered him right back. After that, I headed to my class. I was happy. He had recognized me as a living, breathing object that went to the same school. If I were a gymnast, I would have done several backflips just to release this flying feeling in my chest. I mean, I already felt shivers up my spine every time I saw him, so when he spoke to me, it felt like someone had just poured a glass of cold water on my head. After that incident, we casually chatted when we would see each other during lunch. Nothing personal, just small talk that would last for a minute or two. Although we were talking and all, I could never imagine myself being his girlfriend. Pigs would fly before anything like that would ever happen to me. One day, Angela's cousin from abroad came to visit her. She would be staying with Angela for a week. Her name was Tasha. We were introduced, and I liked her immediately. She was nice, funny, totally cool, and a model back home. She had beautiful blue eyes, and well, I just had eyes. There was nothing to hate about her. Angela and I both loved hanging out with her so much that I finally suggested that she should join us in school one time. Unknowingly, I initiated my own suffering. When we went back to school with her the next day, everybody was looking. She had these foreign looks, and well, she was a model. Everything was fine until she saw Eddie. Guess what? She decided she had a crush on him too. Worse, she wanted to date him. She asked me to introduce them. I felt I had no other choice. I introduced them and told Eddie that she wanted to go out with him. To my disgust, he willingly agreed. I could have strangled myself. So they went out, and I found out the next day they had kissed. I can feel the stabbing feeling in my chest when I found out. I couldn't believe that my guy was with this girl who liked him for just a second, and I'd been dreaming of him forever. It was unfair that she got to kiss him, and I didn't even get to tell him how I felt. I was too hurt to cry. The day Tasha was leaving to go back home, Angela decided to stay at home and spend some time with her. I went to school. At the end of the day, Eddie approached me and asked if I could take him over to see Tasha before she left. After some persuasion, I finally gave in, but he would not be delivered to my rival without a cost. I got in his car and gave him directions to Angela's house, making sure he took the longest way possible to get there. When we were nearing the house, I pretended to be lost, and I led him around in circles until he ran out of gas. After talking and hugging and saying goodbye to Tasha, although I liked her a lot, I was secretly glad to see her go. It was time for us to leave. Eddie offered to take me home, and this time I gave him better directions. What a lame way to get even. After Tasha left, Eddie and I were closer. We would go out sometimes and share more than just small talk. He would even join us for lunch sometimes. I now know why he was so popular. He was incredibly nice and absolutely fun to be with. I found myself falling for him more and more each day. Several times I wanted to let him know that I too wanted to date him. Maybe I would get a kiss too. One day, he asked Angela and me to go to the mall. Angela never showed up, so Eddie and I hung out by ourselves. I was overwhelmed. Deep inside, I was thanking Angela for not making it. It was almost like a date, only he didn't know it. He asked me if I wanted to see a movie. I said yes. My heart was pounding. I swear he could hear it as we sat beside each other. I couldn't help but think, what it would be like if he knew that I liked him. I felt so strongly about him, and something inside me felt like he had to know. Since words are always so awkward for me, I decided that I wouldn't tell him, I would just kiss him. I gathered up all my strength and took a deep breath. I leaned on him a little, and he didn't seem to mind. I slowly faced him to plant my trembling lips on his cheek. When I looked at him, I was surprised that he was looking at me too. I was so nervous I could have choked on my tongue. Then suddenly he kissed me. I must have looked really stupid because I had my eyes open the entire time. I was in heaven. I found out later that Eddie had liked me even more, even before he met Tasha. He admitted that he never had the courage to let me know because he never thought I would like him, especially after I'd introduced him to Tasha. Eddie and I have been together for almost 4 years now, and everything is still like brand new. Not bad for two people who have thought they would never be together. Surely, impossible things do happen. It's interesting. How long has it been? 12 minutes. Let's see. Sorry, I sound like a ferocious beast. Let's read this one. So this is still in the falling in love section. It's called I Finally Did It. If you play it safe in life, you've decided that you don't want to grow up anymore. You don't want to grow anymore. Shirley Hofstadler. It was the last day of school of my sophomore year. I had just finished my English final, and everyone else in my class was exchanging their yearbooks person's